Hello, hello. This is Sean. I'm here with Steve and J-Man, and we're all the way downtown Toronto, College and Spadina, heading towards the library here for the Toronto Pulp Show, which we're excited about once a year. It's craziness. Let's cross, man. And I just want to show. I love these. It's not a real library unless there's like giant animal statues in front of it. You see here these big griffins. That's awesome, man. I love that. So anyway, so we're gonna head in, and I hope to have some footage in there as well. If not, I'll see you at the other side.
Oh, hi.
I know is very famous for the swing.
Let me just write tree.
Yeah, there we go. The tree one is on Jupiter. Pretty awesome. Now this show, it's the Toronto Pulp Show. It happens only once a year, and it hasn't happened for a while because of the pandemic, etc. And this is the first time in years that it's popped back up. Whenever this show came up in the past, J-Man and I hit it, and we always walked away with a lot of great stuff and a lot of education too, like learning about new characters and things like that. I love pulps. I love old, like crime noir stuff, fantasy, science fiction, all that great stuff from that yesteryear era of the 20s, 30s onward, into the 40s and 50s, etc. They sell a lot of old stuff, but also reprints and paperbacks from like the 60s and 70s as well. So we went, and I stocked up on a whole bunch of stuff. I wasn't really looking for anything specific, but I found some points of interest that I snapped up. So first off, where do I begin? First off, let's start with Charles R. Saunders. I had reviewed Imaro on my channel, somewhere on my channel, and Charles R. Saunders is a man who he was a Canadian writer. He was born in the States, but he moved to Canada in the 60s, 70s thereabouts, and then moved to Nova Scotia, and from Ontario. And he wrote quite a bit. He wrote a lot of articles, but also he wrote stories. He was a big geek like all of us, and wrote fantasy stories, and he wrote like other things like crime stuff like Damballa and all that. He created a character called Imaro, which is basically a character in the tradition of like Tarzan and Conan, in his own fantasy fantasy continent where he fights guys, and he's like a reject from a tribe, and like goes on all sorts of adventures. They're pretty awesome. So I read the first book, and but I read that online, and I picked up Imaro, which is the old DAW book they made. This does not have the the subline of comparing it to Tarzan, which got them in trouble, and then they had to reprint a whole bunch of books. So here's Amaro, and here's Amaro 2, The Quest for Kush. So happy I got these, and they're in great condition too. But I'm totally gonna read Amaro 2. So yeah, I'm happy I got these. They're wonderful, man. It's like I highly recommend picking these up. Unfortunately, Charles R. Saunders passed away in 2020 in Nova Scotia. I think his body was discovered much later after his death because he was secluded, and he died fairly poor, I think. And it's a shame because he is a fairly instrumental part of the so-called sword and soul genre of African fantasy, like, you know, the African voice going into the fantasy that we all know. And you know, it's funny, I read Children of Blood and Bone, and I'm sure like the author of that doesn't even know who Charles, maybe she does, I don't know, but the thing is that like there's so much that owes a lot to him. So I mean, his name should be like more out there. Other things I picked up, I love these old Marvel paperbacks of all the adaptations they make. So I picked up Star Trek the Motion Picture, the novelization. I have the super special, which is cool because it has the glossary of terms and it has an interview and all that. It's great. But I love these things. Stan Lee presents Star Trek. And it's like, television's most acclaimed science fiction series is now a great new motion picture and a mighty Marvel illustrated epic. Star Trek the Motion Picture, the human adventure begins. What I love about Star Trek the Motion Picture, like, I love the director's cut. The original movie isn't finished. And you can tell when you watch it, you know, it wasn't a finished movie. What I love about that movie, though, is all of the hype and marketing around it. All of the merchandise around, like the figures, the toys, the coloring books, the re-releases of the Power Records, the comics, the Happy Meals. It was the first licensed Happy Meal out of McDonald's. It wasn't the first Happy Meal, but the first licensed one. And they had like 5 different boxes and a bunch of prizes and stuff and puzzles and stuff like that. I love the hype around Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's great stuff. It's fun. So yeah, I'm happy I picked that up. I picked up this Lynn Carter, The Barbarian of World's End. So World's End is, it's not Thongor, it's another series that he made. The Gondwain epic, and this is the 4th one. I want to get more into the Gondwain stuff. It sounds interesting to me. I know some people might roll their eyes, but it's about, as far as I can figure out, it was about this wandering mystery man, you know, doesn't know who he is or why he's there, and it's like a post-apocalyptic, well, it's a fairly apocalyptic Earth, and he comes to discover that he's like an android that's revived to fix a problem if a problem occurs, and the problem is like the end of the world. That's what I can gather from all this reading it. So this is the 4th book of that, and it looks awesome. So Lynn Carter is like good for like action, like, you know, adventure and weird imaginative stuff. I also picked up a couple Dell Mattbacks. So Dell was a company that they would like pump out paperback books, and they're like potboiler, intrigue, mystery, adventure, romance, but mostly like, you know, like crime and stuff like that. So here's the Madonna of the Sleeping Cars. So what a Mattback is on the back cover, they have a map of all the locations in the actual story, and it figures into the story like timelines, etc., and you can like follow along the mystery looking at the map back. A more intricate one here is New York Confidential, The Big City After Dark. This feels like it's written like it's a manual or something. I was leafing through it. On the back is a map of like, although you can't really see it very properly with the light shining at us, but a map of all city blocks and stuff. And there's numbers for each building here, and there's a key inside here of all those numbers. But also there's like, I have to read this and follow along. There's like phone numbers and stuff, and and all sorts of different weird fun stuff in here, and some sort of like, you know, like mystery crime thing going on. It looks awesome, man. I can't wait to tuck into this one. And I bought, okay, so there were a bunch of Fu Manchu books there. I didn't buy the Fu Manchus. I'll get them later. I mean, everyone has them, but Sax Rohmer fascinates me. Listen, I understand the cultural insensitivity and stuff with those books. It's just like, I don't understand why he was so insensitive. It's funny because a lot of his colleagues, if you look this up online, at the time were writing him and saying like, you're going a bit too far with all this. So like, even at the time it was recognized there was a little too much. But I saw this this old paperback, Tales of Chinatown by Sax Rohmer, and I was like, oh boy, what's he gonna say in this? I just like, I'm reading these things from the past. You know, I don't endorse any of it, but I think it's important to look at the root of a lot of this stuff, and be exposed to it and learn and understand it. You know, take some value from it. You know, either the virtues of not like being insensitive, or even just like, you know, with Fu Manchu, a lot of supervillains from anything from James Bond pictures to you name it, come from Fu Manchu. They took all the different tropes and just like rearranged them, and here they were. So if you want to see the birth of that, you'd have to plug your nose and read a Fu Manchu, right? But yeah, I thought I'd pick this up. It looks like a colorful, like a fun cover here. So yeah, it says complete unabridged. So there you go. This looks like an original. It doesn't look like it's a reprint or anything like that. Okay. So that's not all I got. I also got, let me try and, all 12 Star Trek photo novels from, I think, the 70s. I have like one or two of these now, but I love photo novels. So what a photo novel is they'll take actual stills from a movie or TV show, and those are the panels, and then they put in word balloons of what they were saying. So they're adaptations of the actual thing. They come from a time when there's no VHS or home video or anything, and if you saw a movie that was there, you saw a TV show, that's it until they rerun it on TV. So there were plenty of different ways to relive these TV shows and movies. Sometimes they put, I know there's a Star Wars LP where it's like a 45-minute version of Star Wars, not a power record or anything, but or a book and record set, but like they're recordings from the movie to recreate the movie. Viewmaster, comic adaptations, which still sort of limps on today. There's no real reason for any of these things because we have home video, but we could just relive the movie, you know, right there and then, right? But photo novels were a big part of this. I own a lot of photo novels from the 70s, Body Snatchers and Rocky 2. I love all that stuff. And it seems that photo novels are sort of making a comeback, or have made a comeback in recent years, at least in the past decade. Especially with Disney stuff. I've seen like photo novels of both computer animated and cell animated Disney classics, you know, like The Old Beauty and the Beast and Finding Dory and all that stuff. And they do a lot with Star Wars every time there's an anniversary. I don't know if there's a Return of the Jedi version of this, but I know they've made Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back photo novels. I have the Star Wars photo novel. Unfortunately, they are special edition. And also I have the Rebels photo novels. I have the Mandalorian photo novel. So they do these. I have a Spider-Man photo novel from, I think, Marvel Spider-Man, that cartoon series. So I've been delighted to find modern photo novels that I snap them. I like them. I like that kind of thing. Anyways, let's go through all these. There's 12 of them. So the first one is City on the Edge of Forever. Of course, that's going to be the first one. And the thing with these is and you could see a preview on the back here. The thing with these is that they span all 3 seasons, and they're in no particular order. They're just an episode from Star Trek, where no man has gone before. And here's the life of Captain Kirk imperiled. The Trouble with Tribbles, of course. It's like a greatest hits kind of thing. I know there's an experiment in making new episodes by taking old stills and attaching new word bubbles to them and making brand new, like in comics, and making brand new episodes out of like new photo novels. I can't remember what that series was called. I saw it around. I should pick those up, man. A Taste of Armageddon, number 4. Metamorphosis. All Our Yesterdays. And these first only all of the of what I just showed, 1 to 6, were reprinted except for Metamorphosis, for the release of the Star Trek movie. But these are the originals. 300 full color authentic scenes. Yeah, the Galileo 7. These must have been really cool if you got one of these and just like pour through it like you're a big Star Trek fan. A piece of the action, of course. The Devil in the Dark, of course. Get some of that Horta action. The Day of the Dove. Stop it, nobody can stand that kind of pain. Let him go. That's awesome. The Deadly Years. And Amok Time. So there you have it. That's all I got at the Pulps show. It was pretty cool. There's a lot of old Pulps that I'll pull the trigger on later. Like, I mean, this thing happens once a year, so next year perhaps I'll buy a lot more original Pulps and recreation Pulps. I get the Steeker books. Steeker's a company that's been reprinting a lot of the old Pulps, like G8 and you know, other stuff. So yeah, so that's what I got at this show. It was pretty awesome. I'm pretty satisfied with my purchases, especially the Amaro books. So I'll tuck into these. And till next time, take care.